We are back talking horse racing on the PlaybookSports.com Horse Report with Jon Hardoon from the Sheets. How's it going, John?
Good.
And Mark Lawrence, of course, from PlaybookSports.com. How's it going, Mark?
Going terrific. A little bit of a tear in the eye, Saratoga last weekend, Del Mar last weekend, but I guess better races to come down the road.
Yep, and this actually will be our last show for a couple of weeks because with the tracks taking some time off, or at least starting after this weekend, next week, I don't actually see any stakes races. So because of that, it's a good time for us to re-energize, boost our adrenaline for the stretch run up through the Breeders' Cup. What did I miss?
Recharge the battery.
There you go. That was good too. So that's what we're gonna do. We're taking a week off next week. Before I get going, I just want to throw this promo up on the screen here because I know that horse racing fans and people who wager on the horses, there's a percentage of them, a good percentage, that also like to wager on football. So as you can see here, if you sign up for the Weekend of Winners package, that's Mark Lawrence's package over at PlaybookSports.com, all you have to do is, as you can see there by that URL I placed up on the board, PlaybookSports.com/prime. Go right to that URL and sign up. You'll get a discount, a $10 discount on the package, and you're also going to receive Mark's Underdog College Football Play of the Month. So check that out. Because nobody knows football handicapping like Mark Lawrence, just like nobody knows horse racing handicapping like Jon Hardoon. All right, guys, enough of that. Let's go ahead and talk Saratoga one last time. And we're going to start with race 10 and the number 1 horse, Tuggle. And this is a 6.5 furlong race. Should go off about 5:37 on Saturday. And this is just, what is this, a 10,000 allowance race?
How about
$100,000?
$103,000.
That's better. I like that. All right. Actually, 103,000. All right. Tuggle, 8-1. Ortiz on board. What you like about Tuggle is that he's coming second the last 3 races. He's got 9s the last 3 races, as you can see there on the board. And the reason why I think that's important is because before we even get to the favorite of the race, the best that the favorite of the race has ever run is a 9. So it does make you consider the 1 Tuggle, John. And Ortiz on board, too, doesn't hurt.
Well, this is an interesting horse. This horse is owned by Coach Parcells, who used to coach the Giants, and he had a tight end named Tuggle, and that's who this horse is named after. The problem with this horse, Greg, is that he only has 3 races in 2 years. He doesn't run all that often. Last year he had 2 races, and then he resulted in a 13-month layoff. And now he came out this year, ran a number, which is a 9, which is very good, but then another layoff off the 9. So obviously he has physical problems. However, when he shows up, he usually runs well. Again, the problem is he doesn't run all that often. But his last 3 times he was on the track, he did run a 9. So for that reason, and he's 8-1. So for that reason, I'm going to respect him, and I'm going to include him with whatever horse I decide to play.
Were you thinking of taking the 1 at all, Mark?
I was looking real hard at the 1. He's on this 3-race win streak, and they were all 9s, as you mentioned here. And
second
you
straight.
got Irad replacing Jose. That might be a slight improvement here. A lot of value here at 8-1. It was a consideration for me as well.
Okay, the 2. Is there any reason for us to discuss the 2 at all, John?
Well, he has a 10-9, 2 and 3 races back. The 18 he ran last time out was without Lasix. He goes back on Lasix tomorrow.
Okay.
So if you're looking to excuse the last bad race, not only that was run on a sloppy track. So he does have excuses for those last 2 races, and he's 20-1. And if he decides to run a 9 or 10, well, he's just as good as Tuggle, isn't he?
It's
But
it's interesting how this horse has run 50% of his races in bad conditions.
Yeah, he doesn't bring the weather with him. Let's put it that way. It's a low-profile barn, but certainly wouldn't be a shock if he got into the super or try somewhere on the bottom due to the fact that he is back on Lasix today.
Yeah, because if we draw the line through his last race, his last 5, 10, 9, 13, 11, 12 is not that far off from the 9 when he's got a 9. So, okay. Now let's get to the 3 horse, and this is the favorite, Ducal, 5-2 shot. This is the one we're talking about. Only 2 races, good races. It's nice when you start with a 13. Even better when your second race is a 9 and you win it, and you get it at Saratoga, and you have Cox as your trainer. So I can see why this horse is the favorite, but, you know, it's one of those favorites that I think we're willing to try to find somebody else to beat him because he doesn't have a long history.
Well, if he repeats the 9, he's like other horses we've seen so far, you know, and at the odds, you're really supposed to try to beat him. Supposedly, he's a nice horse. He won his last race at Saratoga and did it easily, and Cox is a terrific trainer and all the rest that goes with it. However, as far as number power is concerned, he only has 1 9 last time out. It's not his fault. He only has 2 career starts. Can he win? Of course he could win. But there's no edge in playing this horse at 6-5 or 7-5, which he's probably going to be.
Mark?
I've got the horse underneath just out of respect. The 2 improvements for the 2 races that he had on the last one with Manny Franco, who's up on the horse today, off the win. I've got to put him underneath, but John says no value to the horse at all. And we really, truthfully don't know exactly what we got with this horse with just 2 races.
All right, now let's hit up the 4, Marching. Now, the interesting thing as far as I'm concerned with Marching are the odds. You're getting 15-1. You got a good combination, Trainer and Velazquez, and didn't start off well. That first race was a disaster. Comes back after that and rights the ship with a 14 and a win. What I like about this, John, is just, again, I like the odds. I like the connections there of the trainer and the jockey. And I'm thinking, you know what? If I get another forward move here and I can get up to a 9 again, and I don't know, why can't I? It's possible. Maybe I could at least get this horse into my exacta and make some money off of it. So I'm considering the 4 in my exactas.
Well, I don't like this horse at all. Obviously, he could improve, you know. But both of those races were run at Ellis Park, and that's like minor league track compared to Saratoga. You know, if this horse was so good, McGahee wouldn't have had him at Ellis Park. He would have had him
Well,
here.
the first one was at Gulfstream.
Gulfstream,
Yeah.
okay, so exactly. I mean, listen, he would have to run a single digit. You know,
Sure.
Can he run anything could happen, obviously. But I don't think 15-1 is long enough, to be honest with you.
All right, let's go with the 5. Are we going to consider the 5 at all at 30-1? Because the 5 is running rejected again, 10th race of the year.
And he has 20 lifetime starts and has yet to run a 10. So why is he going to do it Saturday?
Actually, hidden. February.
A 7
Yeah.
on a wet track
Yeah.
at Aqueduct. Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
All right, let's get to the 6, and this is Olympiad. First race of the year for Olympiad. You know, you look at this horse and you say, okay, there's not a lot to go on, just like the favorite, and unlike the favorite, doesn't have the 9, 16, 14. All you're doing with this horse is just, you know, saying to yourself, well, they really like the horse. They spent a lot of money on it. You know, they've got Mott and Alvarado on board. So, you know, it's 2 races at Saratoga, just came off a win. Sure, maybe Olympiad is ready to take another step. First race of the year, that's a big problem. 8-1. I mean, I think it's just not worth it.
Well, he's getting Lasix for the first time, and he ran a 14 as a 2-year-old, which gives him a license to come out and possibly run a 10. But at 8-1, I wouldn't be interested in playing this horse, that's for sure.
Mark?
I agree. There's not a whole lot to base anything on here. The 16 to the 14 wasn't a major move. We don't know where he's going from here. But does he regress back to a 16? We don't know. The 14 isn't good enough to win this race. I agree with John. I don't think there's enough here to make a case for this horse at all, regardless of the price at 8-1.
as we move to the next horse, Hoopla, at 30-1, it's similar to a few other horses in this race. Only a couple of races, 23-16, so improved on the second one. Came up with a win on the second one, but you're getting 30-1 on this horse and won the last race at Saratoga at this distance. So, again, just another one of these horses. The big difference is you're getting 30-1.
He was claimed out of his last race by trainer Bruce Brown away from Bill Mott. He was in for $40,000, which means anybody that's allowed to claim horses was allowed to claim him for $40,000. I think this is a rather ambitious move, bring him from a $40,000 claiming race into this race. Not only that, it is a negative barn switch. Take nothing away from Bruce Brown because he's a fine trainer, but he's no Bill Mott.
John, does the barn switch result with Johnny Velasquez on the horse, who Johnny Velasquez ran the horse the last time off the win? He's now on the 4 horse. Is he on this on the 4 horse because of which here? The jock change?
He's probably on the 4 horse because he thinks the 4 is a lot better than the 7.
Well, that's the sign to me. Velasquez rides him to a win his last race, and he's on another horse. In this race, this is the 3rd different jock in the irons for this horse. I know he's 1-for-1 at Saratoga, but I don't see a whole base here with these numbers.
No, I don't think he belongs with these horses.
Okay, let's get to the 8. Baby Yoda, a 6-1 horse. This is going to be, we all like this horse, so much so that John and I actually have Baby Yoda as our top horse. What I found when I was going over here, I was, all right, 15, win, first time out. Came back after that, 10, second time out. Okay, that's nice. Then he goes and we have a trainer change to William Mott. And from June 26th to July 17th, which is bounce territory, the horse doesn't bounce, goes 10 and wins the race. That impressed me enough that I figured, well, if he could do that, he could do even better this time around with even more rest. So I hope I can get 6-5-1 and take advantage of Baby Yoda.
Well, the good thing about this horse is he was privately purchased after that race when he ran the 10 at Pimlico by Bill Mott, and he ran a 10. You know, the 15 first out means nothing. That was run on a sloppy track, and he happened to win that day anyway. Then he ran the 10, but the second 10, like you say, confirms that this horse has a shot to be a nice horse because he had every right to bounce off of the first 10, and he didn't. He's now been in Mott's barn for 2 months. You know, he's ready to run a new top. He's similar to other horses we've seen. I mean, you want to bet the 3 Ducal? Ducal has a 9. Who knows what he's going to do off the 9? This horse showed you what he's going to do off the 10, and now he's put 10s together. He's got a shot to make a nice forward move, and he's the longest price out of the horses that you could consider here. And for that reason, that's why he was my top choice. Not only that, he's getting 5 pounds from Tuggle. He's carrying 118. Tuggle's carrying 123. He's getting 2 pounds from Ducal, who's carrying 120. And he's going to be getting weight from other horses in the race that have a shot, like Crowded Trade and Hometown. So for that reason, between the price, the barn switch, and all the rest, that's why I like Baby Yoda.
Mark.
I like the weight, the weight advantage here for the racehorse for sure. And you also like the Jose Ortiz up on the horse. He's coming off the win 1-for-1 at Saratoga here. And John says this horse can improve off the 10. If he doesn't, he runs another 10. That might win this race here as well. At 6-1, that's a real square price.
All right, let's go with the 9, Crowded Trade, the 5-1 shot. This horse has been in a lot of big races. The Gotham, the Wood, the Preakness. Hasn't won any of those races, but has been in big races. Now, what's interesting is, and it's kind of concerned me a little bit. Worst race was at 6.5 furlongs at Saratoga, but it was on a sloppy track. So I don't really know what to take from that. But 5-1, I'm not. Why would I go 5? I mean, it's got the 8 to go on at the Gotham, which is nice, but hasn't been able to get that back anywhere near since. So at 5-1, I'm going to pass. But Mark, you're all over this Chad Brown, Javier Castellano horse as your top choice.
I know this horse does not meet the criteria that John looks for with the sheets, with the numbers. are going the wrong way for this horse, especially since the Gotham. But I'm buying into the horse for the quality of the stakes races that horses run. 4 graded stakes races, ranked third, as you mentioned, the Gotham. You got Chad Brown and Castellano up on the horse here. I'm going to try this horse at 5-1. I think he's a real square price, and this is a rare. I know we're talking sheet numbers, but we're also talking class, and I think this horse is the class of the race, at least for where he's been. Maybe not this particular race, but at 5-1, I've got him up on top.
The only good news I have for this horse is that he is going back on LASIK, so that may help him make a forward move. He does have the 8 to go back to, but I don't think he's going to run it. You want to excuse the last race? He's got a lot of excuses off the 8 that he ran. The last time he was caught a sloppy track, 2 starts back was the Preakness in a marathon distance, and the 13-3 races back was off the 8 where he figured to bounce. So if you want to make a case, there's your case for the horse to make the forward move, Mark. The only problem is I don't think he'll be 5-1. I think he'll be shorter than that because of the connections and because of the races that he ran in. So for that reason, I think he's going to be more like 3-1 or 7-2. You know, if he's 5, 6, 7-1, sure. I just made the case that you made and found excuses for the last 3 races. But I think he'll be a shorter price only because it's Chad Brown.
You know, my concern here, John, was that if this horse was a 3-1 money line horse to open with, feeling that all the pedigree races that he's run before in the past, he would be bet down, and he will be bet down. For 3-1, he may even gone off as the favorite. But at 5, I'm hoping he just doesn't get much lower than 3-1.
Well, the good news is it's a 12-horse field, so
yes.
You know they're going to find other horses to play. So maybe he'll be forgotten, but I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay, let's go with the 10, Hometown. And Hometown made his switch of trainers when the year started, and Chad Brown took over. 7, 11, 11, as you can see on the board there. Won the first time out with Chad Brown. That was when he broke his maiden. But this horse has never been in a stakes race before, and now it's a grade 1, and he's 4-1. Brown and Saez, that's a good connection. So
this is not a stake race. This is an allowance race.
Oh, that's right. This is the allowance race. I forgot about that.
Right. So,
I was already jumping on board to the Jockey of Gold Cup race.
Not only that, I don't know a horse that could read a form and tell you what conditions he was running in.
I don't know.
I don't put much into that, but okay. He does have the 7, and then he, has a couple of excuses after it. He's not impossible, but this is another Chad Brown that's listed at 4-1. He would have to run that 7 to win. Can he run the 7? Sure. But I don't think there's any edge in playing him at a short price.
Yeah, that's the main deal, is that low number of 4-1.
Yeah.
11. We're not going to talk about the 11, are we?
No.
Okay.
Next.
12 is the last horse in the field, and this is Staying Out Late. A 12-1 shot. You've got Santana and Asmussen. And look, this is another horse like the early one that I talked about. And this one I actually like a little bit better as a long shot to throw into my exactas. If you look at the sheets there, the 3 races this year, he's gotten better each time. 23, 15, 13. Has not raced since May. So that's good. And you've got, like I said, Santana, by the way, back on board. So maybe the timing is right. 12-1. That's what I'm also interested in, John. The 12-1, the connections, the sheets going in the right direction.
Okay, all that is true, but he's yet to run the single digits, and he's 12-1. I think you have better options at the same or longer prices, personally.
Do you have any long shots in the field, Mark? That you like?
Well, I was good. Really, in truth, no, I don't, because the race is being what it is. But if Tuggle is considered a long shot at 8-1, he would be my long shot horse.
Okay.
Okay. But he won't be, and he won't be 8-1. So my answer, bottom line, is no, I don't.
Well, there's enough horses in the field, so we'll see. All right. So let's post the picks so everybody knows exactly what we got there. Again, Baby Yoda, that's the top choice for me and John. Crowded Trade is the top choice for Mark. Let's now move on to race number 12. This is the big one. This is the Jockey Club Gold Cup. This is going to go off about 6:45 on Saturday. It's 1.25 miles. So this is a lot longer than the race we just talked about and a lot bigger. As John reminded me of, that was an allowance. This is the Grade 1 $1 million race. And this is a race that was previously held at Belmont, correct?
Yes, this is the first time it's being run at Saratoga.
All right. And why is that?
I don't know. They just added it to the Saratoga menu to help their menu, which they don't really need to do because they have stake races galore here, but they're running it this. Actually, it's a better race run at Saratoga than it would be at Belmont because the circumference of the Saratoga racetrack is 1.1 miles. So this race will start towards the top of the stretch. So it gives everybody a fair run into that first turn, where at Belmont, it actually starts on the turn and the inside horses have a much bigger advantage.
By the way, is there a rule out now for biting other horses during the race?
It's the same rule that's always been, and you get disqualified if he would have happened to win that race. Forza Fire, he would have been taken down. But it just shows you people think horses are stupid and they don't know what's going on. He knew that he couldn't go past that horse, and he was
is that
frustrated.
What you thought? Okay.
And he was absolutely frustrated, and he took a bite out of him, but not once, but about 5 times. So
I like it. The horse was thinking, hey, I've caught him, but I got nothing left in the tank, so I'm going to Mike Tyson this guy. And
exactly. He was frustrated, and he let out his frustrations that way.
All right. I like it. Interesting. So that means that anybody that put money on Forza Fire, very fortunate, in an exacta, let's say, that actually was the payout, very fortunate that he didn't get disqualified.
No, he would have only gotten disqualified if he beat UPON.
So you're not going to get disqualified unless you win?
Well, what are you going to get disqualified?
Well, you were in the money. I don't know.
Yeah, but
John, what he could
with the horse that was on the lead, UPON. He didn't interfere with the horse behind him. If he bit a horse behind him, he would have got placed behind that horse.
If I'm an ambulance chasing judge, looking at that race, after he bites the horse, he completely cuts his lane off. Okay. UPON did, okay? UPON had nothing other to do than to come into the horse after being bit. He completely cut Forza Fire's lane completely out. That would have been a DQ had there been no biting.
It was optical illusion. He went into Forza Fire crossed over on him trying to bite him.
Right, but after he got bit and straightened out, he completely Forza Fire out. Well, would that have amounted to a possible claim, or would they have not even allowed it because of the biting?
No, because he got fouled first. When you come down, it's who commits the foul first. Forza Fire committed the foul by biting him. So right at that point, all bets were off. The other horse could have knocked him over, and he wasn't coming down.
I've got you. So much for my ambulance chasing judge.
All right. So we don't even need to handicap this race. Let's just go 3-6 $100 exacta.
What?
No, we're not even going to talk about the 3 and the 6 because this is a 4-horse race. We're going to start with Forza Dioro, an 8-5 shot, coming off the best race of the horse's career. That was a 6. That was at Saratoga. The only thing that I noticed, John, about this horse and the other contenders in this race, especially the 4 and the 2, is that he hasn't, and again, I know what you're probably going to say, but he hasn't gone up against the competition. But other than that, he's got the 6, and the 6 is better than the max player, and the 6 is just as equal as Happy Saver. So the 1 is definitely a top contender. What was the main reasoning why you decided not to go with Forza Dioro as your top choice?
Because when I look at his sheet, the first race he ever ran in his career, he ran a 12. Then in the second start, he backed up to a 16. Then last year, he comes out and he runs a new top, the 7. And he bounces off the 7 to a 9. Then this year, he came out and he ran the 6. So if you look at his history, he's never gone forward in his second start back off of a layoff. He's always regressed. He's going to be the favorite. And I know he's not making a forward move.
Why is he going to be the favorite?
He's listed at 8-5.
So you still think he'll be the favorite?
Yeah, I think he'll be the favorite or close to it. Anyway, in any case, he's going backwards. He's not going forward.
Sounds good to me.
And not only that, he had 3 races as a 2-year-old, which was fine, but only 2 races as a 3-year-old, and then took another year and 2 months off. So, you know, he doesn't show up at the races. He's coming off of Lasix, and he never makes a forward move in his second start back. So for that reason, at a short price, I don't need him.
Mark?
The horse is on this win streak here, and we're talking about $1 million race, so you really don't want to have anything that is negative about your horse in $1 million race. Is that 6, John, his best race that he raced his last race?
It's the best race he's run so far in his life.
Would it be a bounce race or not enough?
Well, looking at his history, he's always bounced in his second start.
Okay, in that pattern.
Right. 12-16 as a 3-year-old, he won 7-9. Can he repeat the 6? Of course he can repeat the 6. But I'm allowed to nitpick when I'm dealing with a favorite that I'm trying to beat, and I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, he's not.
And I love your analogy, John, about a horse going backwards off of a good number. Good number backwards. Good number backwards. I love that pattern, and it does fit this horse.
Yeah, but normally, if it's another horse that's not the 6, we wouldn't be concerned with as far as a bounce. It's more than enough time. Because it was in late July.
But he had enough time last year.
No. I'm saying if it was another horse, we wouldn't be even thinking about it. But this horse has shown that that's just not the case. Okay, let's go with the 2. And that is Max Player. And what's interesting about Max Player is we saw him in those big races. I mean, Withers, Belmont, Travers, Derby, Preakness. And he was always, a contender, it's kind of a sleeper contender, never a favorite, but always somebody that was in the big races and you always kept an eye on and ran pretty decent numbers, 8, 9, 7, 8, whatever. But then all of a sudden in 2021, after starting out in Saudi Arabia, and that didn't go well, came back to the States and then boom, 10 and then 7, and really finally, actually in that race, the last time out in the Grade 2 Suburban, showed, hey, I'm actually a good horse. I'm peaking now, and this is my time. Well, maybe that's the case. The only thing I'm a little bit concerned with is the 2 for 2 on the sloppy track. He was at the sloppy track with his best race the last time, which was a 7. He did run a 7 last year as well at the Travers, which was where at Saratoga. I'm thinking, this is a horse that looks like it's possibly peaking finally, and I could see why he's your top pick.
Well, his top last year was at Saratoga.
Yes.
Now I think he's a better horse this year than he was last year, or he's going to prove it anyway. He has a license to be as a 4-year-old. He has time since the 7. Asmussen's doing terrific at the meet. This horse, unlike other horses in the race, has not been on Lasix, so he's been off of Lasix. So, like the one horse is coming off of Lasix for the first time, this horse has been off of Lasix. I think this horse has a shot to improve off the 7-. And if that's the case, I think it's going to be good enough to win. He's a longer price than the 1 or the 4. So for that reason, I went to him.
Yeah, because it's interesting. You'll take a look at the numbers there where it starts 23, 16, 9, 8, 7. So those first 5 races, he's got a perfect sheet line heading into the Kentucky Derby. And then all of a sudden it goes the other way. But now he's coming back and it's going back into the right direction. And this is the race that you're hoping is the big payout.
Exactly. And those 3 races in the Derby last year, you're allowed to go backwards.
Yeah.
It was 3 races in a short period of time. Now he's got time between races. The Dubai race meant nothing. Throw that race out. It was ridiculous. Came back, ran the 10, time off the 7. Now his time off coming into the race. I could see a 5 coming.
Mark?
I can see John's take on this racehorse here. He breaks his maiden and he races in 8 straight stakes races in a row. Does he belong or deserve to be in $1 million race? That says yes. My concern here is that he's been 10-1 or more in 5 of his last 6 races. Now he's 5-2 in a short field, but he's still 5-2, a much smaller price than he's been. You've got Asmussen and Santana here. I like the horse here as well. I was really deliberating about using him underneath. This is such a going to be a chalky field with, just you mentioned, Greg, 4 horses that I think are only 4 horses to be considered here. But this horse is coming off a Bullet Works in 2 of his last 3 and 3 of his last 5. So the horse is primed and the horse is ready, and it's a great point John brings out about the LASIK situation.
Does Chess Chief have a shot at all?
If the race goes in a 9, he has a shot, but the race isn't going in a 9.
Okay, let's go to the 4, and that is Happy Saver. This is Mark's top play, the 9-5 shot, and coming off his best sheet number of his career. That was also the race that Max Player won, the Grade 2 Suburban. So Happy Saver was 3rd in that race, but again, he ran a 6, as you can see on the screen, and he's got more than enough time to come back from that. But why did you pick Happy Saver as your top choice, Mark?
Well, this horse, like 6 races, had a 5-race win streak, just had it snapped his last race. You're bringing Irad up on the horse here rather than Jose. Jose's been on the first 5 races. Now they switched to Irad Ortiz. I think Irad's a better jock personally. And when you have him on your horse in a stake race like this with Pletcher, the trainer, that's a real nice combination here. My concern here, John, I have to ask you this, and being relatively new to the sheets and loving the sheets as I'm learning the sheets, and I hope our listeners are learning all about the sheets on the show as well. He ran a 6 his last race. He ran a 10 before that. Is that 6 considered a bounce race? Is it enough of a number for him to be in a bounce situation in this race?
Not really, because he had 7s last year and he put 7s together. If you look at his sheet, he ran 7-7 in his first 2 races. Not only that, he has plenty of time since the 6. This horse is fine. This horse could certainly win. The reason I went to Max Player over him is strictly because of price. This horse is 9-5. Max Player is 5-2.
And by the way, my pick is I was so conflicted between the 2 and the 4 that I figured, all right, I'll try to make a little bit more money, and I'm going to go with the 2 and the 4. So my pick is actually the 2 and the 4 in an exacta, while John's taking the 2 and Mark's taking the 4. So,
and Happy Saver's loss happened to be to Max Player as well.
Right.
So
I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused why they made Happy Saver the favorite over the 2. The 2 beat him last time. Why would they make him the favorite over the 2?
Fletcher,
that was
maybe, and Irad Ortiz.
There's nothing wrong with Asmussen and Santana.
Well, we know that, but that's my guess. I don't know.
They know that too. The people that make the morning line should certainly know that.
No,
Maybe because Happy Saver finally had a loss last time out. He was 5-5 going into that race,
and he also won this race last year.
Yeah, but the horse that he lost to and his only loss is in the race.
I'm just saying, maybe they're going, okay, he won this race last year, which was a Grade 1 race. And it's Pletcher and Ortiz. So
I'm telling you, you're splitting hairs here. That's how close these 2 horses are.
Which is why I put him in an exacta.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
So we're going to have a dead heat in this race.
What's that?
I say, so we may have a dead heat in this race.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Really tough to separate.
Yeah.
There's no question.
And the last horse to talk about is Night Ops, the 5-1 shot. This is Cox, and this is a horse coming off of 5 last time out, but the 5 was August the 6th, and that's just a little bit, the timing is just a little bit short. We'd like the horse to be closer to 6 weeks. We don't really have that here. He's never run a 5 before. He's never ran a 6 before. He's never ran a 7 before. So the bounce possibilities are here, John, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing about him is the 5-1, but the chances of him repeating the 5 are a lot longer than 5-1. I mean, if you look throughout his career, 8-10, 8-12, 8-11. Now he finally ran a 5 last time out. I think he's got to go backwards.
Yeah, the only good thing is 11.85 last 3. It's heading in the right direction, but the timing is just too short, it would seem. Hey,
You need at least another 2 weeks.
You never know. He's run 4 straight seconds, and maybe, night ops running in second place to give you a better payout is not a bad idea.
If you want to do it, do it. But you got to split me and Mark to be able to do that. So who knows?
Well, I won't be doing it, but all right. So, Mark, do you have anything on the 5?
Well, I've got to put the 5 underneath here. If just for no other reason, you've got Cox and Franco here. And the horse does have second-itis, as you mentioned, Greg. You're Tom Kite, always running second. That's good enough to be in the money here. The price, we're talking about splitting hairs on 2 really good horses, maybe a third good horse. This might not be, he might be the 4th of the 4 horses, but for the price, I'm going to have to play him underneath on the ticket.
All right, Mark. You might want to check the computer out, see if he's got COVID.
My computer.
Anyway, so there's the picks. And then here's the promo once again. Go to playbooksports.com/prime. Jon, appreciate it. Enjoy the week off. We'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe and be well. Good luck, everybody.
Have a good weekend, Jon. Greg, you guys be good. May the horse be with you.